All right, so today we're going to go over market structure. It's a very easy topic to understand, but it's also very important. So what exactly is market structure? So market structure is the flow of the market, the condition that the market is headed, either to the upside or to the downside. So the market moves in three different ways, right? We have an uptrend, which is when the market is heading to the upside. We have a downtrend when the market is heading to the downside. And then we have a range, which basically the range looks like this. So let me give you guys an example. This is pretty much what the range looks, right? The range is just in the middle, right? There's nothing going on in here. This is where you guys obviously want to stay out because you guys don't want to be entering trades when the market is not doing anything, right? Which means why do you guys want to create something out of nothing, right? So the market is just in the middle. There's no break to the upside, like as you guys will see over here. There's no really breaks to the upside or there's no break to the downside. It just stays in the middle. This is where you guys want to stay out and just simply wait for either for price to break above to possibly look for buys or break under to possibly look for sells, right? So this is where you guys obviously just want to stay out. Now, over here, as you guys can see, the first one, which is HH, which means higher highs, and then the HL means higher lows. This higher highs and higher lows, you guys are going to find it in the uptrend, right? Whenever price is heading to the upside, which I'm going to explain in a bit. Over here, we have LL, which means lower lows. Over here, we have LH, which means lower highs. You guys are going to find this when price is heading to the downside, right? So whenever you see higher highs and higher lows, which I'm going to explain to you guys in a bit, this is where you guys want to be looking for buy position. Same thing over here, lower lows, lower high. When price is heading to the downside, this is where you guys want to look for sell position. So let me be back. I'm going to show you guys a new example. All right, so now what we're going to do is that we're going to identify all of these points over here, right? So we're first going to identify the uptrend, and then we're going to identify the downtrend, and I'm going to show you guys later on exactly the range. And I'm going to show you guys with small details exactly how you guys will look for buys in an uptrend and how you guys will look for sells in a downtrend. Now, obviously, later on in the course, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to get ready to look for buys or sells with a strategy that I always use. All right, so we're going to identify the uptrend first, right? So we're going to start from here. So this is the low point, which is obviously the lowest. We have the high point, which is the highest, right? Now check this out. Price from here, when it creates a high, obviously price has to come down, right? Now when price comes down from this point over here, what do you think this point is going to be? Is it going to be a low, or is it going to be a higher low or a lower low? So this point over here is going to be now a higher low. Now the reason why this point is going to be a higher low is because this low is higher than the previous one, right? So obviously whenever these lows over here are higher, whenever these lows are higher than the other one, they automatically stays as a higher low, right? Now check this point over here. Market starts pushing back into the upside and we form a new high, right? What is this high going to be? Is it going to be a higher high or just stays as a high? This one over here is not going to be a higher high. The same reason, because this high is higher than the previous high, right? So it's very easy, right? So again, this one over here, same story, is going to be a higher high because this point or this high is higher than the previous one. Same thing over here. This is a higher high because this high is higher than the previous one. And then obviously down here, we are still creating these higher lows because these lows are higher than the other one, right? So it's very, very easy to understand this. Now, what I do recommend you guys to do, this is something that I used to do back then when I was actually studying Forex or trading in general. I used to pretty much just on the weekend or whenever I was back testing, I would just draw this and just understand it. And I will go into the chart, right? I will go to the actual chart, which is like right over here, and I start identifying all of these higher highs and higher lows, right? What I used to do as well, which I'm going to show you guys, I used to change this actually to the line one, because you guys can see a better view like this, just the way that I have it over here. And obviously you guys want to get familiar with the candlestick, but obviously those are the three ways to study them, right? And I do recommend you guys to study this because this is something you guys are going to see on a daily, right? So this is where you guys need to understand exactly how this thing works. So over here, right, we have a higher high. So let me just finish this. All right, so I just finished the higher highs and higher lows, right? Okay, I just finished these higher highs and higher lows, right? Now check this out. We form a higher low and then price comes back into this area, right? Now check this out. What is this point going to be? Is this point going to be a higher high, a high, or a lower high? This question over here, when I first started trading Forex, right, I got this question wrong. So just pause the video and try to guess what is this right over here. All right, so like I said, when I first started, doing courses of trading, I got this question wrong over here, and my answer was a higher high. Now, if you guessed that the answer was a higher high, then that's the wrong answer. The right answer is a high. Now, the reason why this stays as a high is because this high is not higher than the other one, or it's not even lower, so it cannot be a lower high. Now, if it was high, obviously it turns as a higher high. If it was low, it will be a lower high. But since it's the same exact spot as the other high, it remains as a high. Now check this out. This over here, when the market starts breaking to the downside, right, this is called a shift of structure. Pretty much, obviously you guys have an idea, is when the market starts shifting, right, when it's shifted the direction. So in this direction, we're heading to the upside, right, which is also known as an uptrend. Now the price is heading to a downside, we're having a shift of structure where now you guys are going to be looking for sell opportunity, which is also known as a downtrend, right? Now check this out. Whenever price breaks under the previous higher low, right, this is when price forms a new low, right? What is this low going to be? Is it going to be a low, a lower high, or a lower low? This point over here is now going to be a lower low. Now the reason why is because this low is lower than the other one, right? So you guys understand it right there. Over here, this is the higher low because this low is higher than this one. This low is going to be a lower low because this low is lower than the other one, right? Now check this out. Price starts breaking back in, now price starts heading to the upside, right? What is this point going to be, right? We form a new high. Is this high going to be a high, a higher high, or a lower high? It's going to be a lower high. Now, the reason why is the same story, because this high is lower than the previous one, right? So you guys understand how very simple this is, right? Now, obviously this continues the same thing. This one over here is a lower low because this low is lower than the other one, right? So I'm going to finish this and I'm going to show you guys exactly how you guys are able to look for sells and buys. Alright, so before I show you guys the buys and sells, I forgot to show you guys these ranges over here. So check this out. Whenever we enter a range, right, let me just ask you this question right over here. What do you think this point over here, right? We're still heading to a downside, but we're now entering this range. But what do you think this low point is going to be right over here? If you think that this is a lower low, then you're correct. Now again, it's because this low is lower than the previous one, right? Now this one over here, same story, is going to be a lower high because this low is lower than the previous. No, this high is lower than the previous high, right? Now, what do you think is going to be these next couple points, right? This next high or low, what do you think is going to be? If you think that it's going to be the same as a high and low, then you're correct. Now, check this out. It's the same exact thing as over here. This is a high because this high is not higher or lower than the previous one. Now, this high is not higher or lower to the previous one, so this one remains as a high. Same thing over here. This low is not lower or higher than the previous low, so it remains as a low, right? So it's just pretty much very simple to understand this. Now, how are you guys gonna find some buy position when price is heading to the uptrend? Like I said, I'm gonna give you guys small details and I'm gonna get into more details later on with this course. So the idea for you guys to look for buy position whenever price is heading to the uptrend, you guys have to wait for a break above the previous high. Another way to say it is you can call it a resistance, right? So let me just put high equal resistance, and then you can put the low equal support, which again I'm gonna get into more details exactly how support and resistance works on the next courses. So resistance, right, you guys are gonna find it on the top, right? You guys are gonna find resistance on top or a high. Support, you're always gonna find it on the bottom. So exactly, whenever you're at a resistance, right, you guys want to be looking for sells only. Whenever price is at resistance, you guys want to look for sells, and whenever price is at support, you guys want to look for buys, right? Again, obviously you guys have heard sell high, buy lows, right? So that's exactly what it means. So whenever price heads to the upside, for you guys to confirm that this is actually heading to the upside, or for confirm that price is creating a new structure, which is an uptrend, you guys have to wait for the break above the previous high or the previous resistance, right? So once we get a break above the previous resistance, the idea to enter a trade is for price to give you guys a pullback. Now, a pullback is when price starts pulling back to the downside, right? So once price pulled back into a downside and confirms that this previous high can now hold as support, right, and create a higher low, this is the idea where you guys want to be looking for a buy position, right? Now, same thing over here. If price breaks above this previous higher high and forms a new higher high, we need to wait for the next higher low, wait for price to actually maintain right above it and actually create a new higher low. This is where you guys want to be looking for some buy position, right? Now, whenever price is now having the shift of structure and is heading to a downside, the way to look for sell is going to be the opposite, right? So whenever you guys are looking for buys in an uptrend, the resistance turns to a support. In this case over here, the support turns into a resistance, and this is where you guys want to look for sells, right? So whenever price starts breaking under, right, notice how price, or the market in this case, right, notice how it broke under and formed a lower low, but broke under the previous higher low. So that means that you have to wait for price to pull back, like same thing over here, but the opposite. You're gonna wait for price to pull back, retest the higher low, use it as a lower high, and this is where you guys want to look for sell position, right? You got to make sure that price maintains under this support of the previous higher low and uses it as resistance. Again, over here we break above resistance to use it as support. Over here we break under support to use it as resistance, and this is where you guys want to look for sell position, right? Same thing over here. You guys want to obviously wait for the break under the lower low, wait for the lower high, and then you guys want to look for sell position. Now you always want to look for buys at higher lows, and you always want to look for sells at lower high. You guys don't want to look for sells at lower low, or you guys don't want to look for buys at higher highs, right? You guys always want to wait for the pullback. Again, I'm gonna get into more details later on with the course. Now, whenever price creates a ranges, right, what exactly does price does? Price literally just stays in the middle, right? Notice how it just bounces up and down. It literally just gonna be bouncing up and down, right? Whenever price does this thing over here, this is pretty much when the market is telling you to stay out. Because in reality, you guys, what can you guys trade in here? You guys want to be trading market conditions like this, literally clean breakouts, right? You guys want to be trading that. You guys don't want to be trading when price is just in the middle, right? So the ideally way to look for a position whenever price is ranging is just wait for a breakout. If it breaks above this area, right, above these ranges over here, you guys want to wait for the higher low. Once we do have a higher low, right, which is break above this resistance or the previous high, this is where you guys want to look for buys. If obviously price maintains above it, this is where price can now start creating a new structure. If price breaks under, right, and we get the pullback and maintains under, this is where price, this area of support, use it as resistance, and this is the idea where you guys want to be looking for sell position, right? So whenever you see a range, stay out and just simply wait for a breakout. Whenever you see a downtrend, you guys are looking for sells, right? Whenever you guys are looking for uptrend, you guys are looking for buys. So that's pretty much it, guys, for this topic. Like I said, it's a very easy topic, so I'll see you guys in the other one.